I mean, as a scientist, the fact that we have that anti-aging study just published 3 weeks ago, before this event, peer review from 3 very famous institutions, 5 years in the making, because the first year you have to submit the people submit their proposal, NIA, National Institute of Aging, choose the ingredients based on what has been published before. 3 years feeding the little gusguses, a year to analyze the data and everything and publish. I mean, this is incredible. No other company can claim what we have. Yep. I mean, this gives me goosebumps again. Yeah. My hair and my neck is standing up. Maybe my hair is standing up. This is no other company have that. And if they say, well, it was done in gusguses, and of course they're gonna, some naysayers are gonna say that, you're gonna say, who does anti-aging study? Even NIA, National Institute of Aging, you do in animals because you're not going to keep somebody in a cage for 45 years. We are the only company who has an anti-aging dietary supplement. This is huge. To me, with that, you cannot not convince the least convincing people. I mean, the least convinced people.
Oh, all the supplements say they're anti-aging, but how many of them actually extended lifespan, right?
And from independent, peer-reviewed journal. I mean, the reviewers looked at it. I mean, this is huge. I mean, this is absolutely huge. So, okay, so the other thing is, it's only in male. So they say, well, it's going to be only in male. Well, you think, I'll have to admit, I do not know Dr. McCall because I came 3.5 years ago after he was gone. But I did call him when the paper came out. I said, Dr. McCall, my name is blah, blah, blah. Help me understand why no in female. And he said, I don't have a good answer for you. It's not unusual because women, we are more sensitive and we are more delicate. The effect is more subtle, and therefore there may not have been enough animals to detect a statistical significance. But he said that's not unusual, but I don't have a good explanation. Male, human or mice do die earlier of disease, of aging problems, so it really worked in male. That doesn't mean it doesn't do anything for female, because there was still a 3%. If we had more animals, that would have been also probably statistically significant. So, but I don't have a good reason, and Dr. McCall didn't even have a good reason. So, but don't think he's coming back on board. I just call him scientist to scientist.
I love it. Now we have maybe just a few minutes, a couple minutes. Rapid fire, any great questions, like really awesome questions?
I would like to know if it's beneficial to take more than the prescribed dose of NRF2. And where I'm coming from is I saw on Anti-Cancer Institute that the cancer patients are taking 6 to 8 per tandem a day.
No, absolutely not. And that's one thing. If you were to talk to Dr. McCall, he would be jumping up and down and going, no more than 3 a day. That's the very maximum. It's because it's a big person. Most of us, we need only 1. If you are going through a very stressful time, maybe a second one, 12 hours opposite to the first one. That's all. Because it's a diminishing return. More you take, it doesn't make any difference. It will not activate the pathway. In fact, I was in the UK the other day, and there is a technical paper that I wrote for the UK comparing Protandim US versus Protandim UK Japan, where I talk about that, the diminishing return if you put more and more in the body. So no more than 3 for a big guy, 2 for when you are stressed, but 1 is enough.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I work with a lot of doctors that get medical cells, so what I'm getting as I approach my doctors is, why weren't there any human studies, which I know you can't stick them in a cage for 4 to 5 years, but why haven't we done more than that? And so I'm getting a lot of feedback with the scams and the, insecurities of it, and just putting me off. How do you approach that?
So first, because we have to study healthy individual, it's hard to detect a meaningful results in a short period of time unless I'm going to take 1,000 people. I have over $5 million in my budget, which I don't have. So get to work, guys, so I can have more money in my budget. But no, seriously, that's why I talked about it this morning. So we have the original pilot study that Dr. McCall did with the non-placebo control. We have the Protandem and runners are going to be coming published soon. I put a marketing version on the back office. It is deep. I am trying to find what outcome I can measure that is going to be detectable within 30 days or 60 days that is going to be meaningful. Because if it's to change 1% of something totally obscure, you have to find the right marker. So basically, I have to put people in a certain amount of stress in order to be. And I'm thinking about it, and I have been designing some study. I'm working with different group. A good stress, for example. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, which the winters are horrible. The inversion, the pollution is horrible. If I could time my study in those 2 months when the inversion, the pollution is so horrible, maybe I will have my healthy human having enough stress from the environment and I'm able to detect something. So I am trying to figure out the best study in order to be able to do that.
Fifi, you said it great to me, because if we do a human study on a diseased individual and we get an effect, which would, right?
Yes.
We are now a drug.
And
there's no more opportunity.
And we are legal. So that's why today I explained why we cannot commission study on diseased people or the outcome of improving a disease. That makes us a drug. So tell your doctors, that's why there are so many animal studies and in vitro studies, because that we can do disease in animals, that we are legal. This is legal. FDA will let dietary supplement company do studies on animal even if they are diseased. But on humans, we'll break the law. We'll be shut. I mean, we'll be closed so fast.
Yeah.
And we are not doing that, not under my watch and not under my legal team. But I'm working hard to figure out what is the right study, what I could do to get going. But the humans, so the Protandem runner are going to be coming soon.
Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Fifi. My name is Mike Rogers. I was wondering if you could explain the importance of a peer-reviewed study, please. Like what exactly it means when someone publishes a peer-reviewed
You
study.
didn't listen to me today.
I did. I was kind of far away though. Thank you. You're awesome.
Okay. I am a peer reviewer for Cosmetic Journal. That means I get a manuscript of a study done. There is no name of product. There is not the name of, it's blinded to which institute did it. It's blinded to who the researchers are. So I am just looking at the manuscript and I'm reviewing the manuscript for its scientific value, having no idea who is behind it. That's what a peer review study means. That takes all the bias, because if I see it's from a famous university, that would influence me to maybe accept the manuscript or give a more favorable review of the manuscript. If I don't know where it's coming, I'm just looking at the scientific value of the manuscript. I look at what is it that they wanted to measure, how they measured it, did their statistical method match what they did, and what are the results, and are their conclusions in agreement with the results. As a peer reviewer, that's what I do. So that is the meaning of a peer review study. You are looking at the manuscript of a study without knowing where it's coming from, which institution, and what the product. The product is usually blinded. It's a product X. So that way you are totally impartial to who did it, and you are really looking at the value of the manuscript.
Last question.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, you had said that the NRF1 has alpha lipoic acid.
Yes.
Could you explain the difference between that and alpha linoleic acid?
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Okay, the difference between alpha lipoic acid and alpha linoleic acid, two different compounds. Alpha linoleic acid is a fatty acid. Alpha lipoic acid is a sulfur containing small molecules that the body makes naturally, which is very important in the Krebs cycle. So an apple and an orange, actually an apple and and a peach.
Would that sulfur interfere with people on an immunodepressant drug?
If you're on an immunosuppressant, I cannot comment on that. I will work with the doctor. I will tell the doctor I want to take that supplement, and the doctor who has prescribed the immunosuppressant will work with the patient and decide based on what they are getting if it's acceptable to take a sulfur-containing compound. You have to look at the order where it is. It's at the bottom, so you have less than 50 milligrams per serving. So you have also to keep that in mind. But I cannot comment on that because it depends on the different drugs.
Thank you, Fifi.
Okay.